Hey, everyone. Welcome in. That's where it's golf. We're golfing. It's cold here in the Midwest. It's getting colder. But it's nice in Utah, Andy. Bank of Utah Championship. I like the Black Desert vibes. It's obviously still the Black Desert Resort.
Yeah,
But,
the logo
they have to
last
throw
year
a
was
sponsor.
cool.
Yeah,
It's good that it got a sponsor. Like that
Yeah.
helps with the longevity of a tournament. Having a local sponsor, banks. A lot of banks have so much money. Like I
I noticed
understand.
that about banks. Yeah.
I understand that, but like it kind of makes me feel like they're screwing people over. Because every tournament now, every stadium is named after a bank. Like it's more. It used to be just a service to the community. Now it's like I think they're making too much money. Maybe that fella on It's a Wonderful Life was right. So I digress. We do have a sponsor. It's the Bank of Utah Championship, second year in Utah. A cool one last year. I watched quite a bit of this last year just because I love the vibe of this tournament. They just kind of built it around the lava fields.
Yeah.
There's some good discussion on what matters here on the timeline. And I kind of had some disagreements with some of the takes because there was I don't know, Rick did some math to say like, I can't remember. I think it's Culp asked like, do you think accuracy matters here? And I mean, the short answer is probably no. But then, Rick did some math and said, hey, here's why it is. And it's like, yeah, but that's treating accuracy like a binary, and it's tough with distance from the edge of the fairway. Cause again, that's an average. You don't know what a person's median is. You're just looking at a mean. But I think this is one of those cases, and we have this with other tournaments where there's out of bounds inside of the golf tournament, inside of the golf course, internal OB. There's courses that have, nasty water. There's courses that have freaking woods and highways. These fairways are 49 yards wide. We didn't have to do a bunch of math to tell you that accuracy doesn't matter as much here. The rough is 2 inches. We don't have to do a lot of math to find accuracy doesn't matter. Accuracy doesn't matter when you're missing small and medium, but when you're missing big, it's a full shot. If you go into the lava rocks, the only way it's not a full shot is if you catch a very lucky carom and it bounces back in. Like you're hitting provisionals if you're missing big. So we're at altitude. Distance matters here. Guys who can hit it long are going to have even better time because of the altitude. Accuracy is not going to matter except for the guys who are going to duck hook it once in a while. Because it's not, oh, well, he's just hitting the shot from the 14th fairway because he missed the fairway by 50 yards. Now it's not, he's hitting it out of the desert. Like in, what's the California one now? Palm Springs. Farmers.
I mean, not the Farmers. I mean, the American Express.
American Express, yeah.
Former Bob Hope Classic, former career builder. As we talk about sponsors that have been fun over the years.
But, it's not, I'll just chip it out of the desert. The shit is lost. It is in lava. Not even the cool lava like you get with TGL back this December. We're about 2 months away from Pick Your Plunder, guys. So I don't know. It's a unique course and it's a shitty field. So I think, again, kind of back to my original point, accuracy isn't some huge deciding factor, but if you have some guys that they got it in the bag to completely freaking miss hard, double cross, the thing's going 30 yards to the left, they're not going to win this tournament because there's no chipping that back in and saving par. You're hitting another tee shot at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we see it here on the screen. If you're hanging out with us and watching live, we appreciate it. BetSports Golf on YouTube, BetSports Golf wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to the Rabbit Hole if you haven't already. This is one of the many tools, not the Rabbit Hole, but again, we have more tools outside of that. Course preview, course stats page, and you can see kind of what Andy's talking about here if you're watching live. It's easy to gain in ball striking, very easy to gain off the tee, very easy to gain on approach. You see, obviously, driver heavy. You do see at the very, very bottom is the missed fairway penalty is high. Yes, it is. But I don't know. I think the way you laid it out is pretty simplistic. Like these are massive land of plane on these fairways. It's a resort course. They host a PGA Tour event. Other times they're hosting just half like us, right? Like I had a bunch of
buddy
buddies.
golf trip. Hey, let's go to Zion.
They did, my buddy.
And then let's play this course. There's good courses out in Utah, and this is like 40 miles from Zion National Park. So if you're out sightseeing and you brought your sticks with, this is probably worth a stop. And it's gorgeous.
A bunch of courses. Yeah, Mayo's going in May, I think. It's you can see here it does tell you that the missed fairway penalty is high, but again, we're talking about the bands have been moved out, right? We're talking about missed fairway penalty being high, typically on courses that are going to have 28 to 32 yard width of fairways.
I think it's something where you can't just look at one stat. The missed fairway penalty is high, but then go look at the driving conditions. It's very easy to hit the fairway, so most people just aren't going to have to deal with that. It is going to be the guys halfway down the card who are going to miss some bigly a few times. We saw some pretty funny shots for some of these guys. Where there are some spots where maybe I could save this. And God, I think it was Michael Kim.
I think Michael Kim had to play. Yeah,
he had a couple of funny ones from way out and god awful spot from some rocks. This was a spot where I started to kind of buy in on Michael Kim because he played really well, just couldn't make a putt. Like he missed like 1,000 putts here last year. I'm like, man, if he putts better, he like wins this tournament, which is wild. Obviously playing a lot better now. And that's maybe the other key to this course. Putting's pretty difficult here. All things considered, being a resort course, which is a little unique in my opinion for a resort course, because usually it's like, hey, huge greens, pretty flat, because this is for duffers on their vacations. But undulated, and they made them pretty quick. Obviously, I think they're probably a lot slower on non-PGA event weeks, but they roll them out, and they're pretty quick for how much movement and undulation they have in it, and putting has been difficult here.
Yeah, you can see up on the screen, I have the putting ranges, percentage made. Again, we have 1 year sample, but you have heard the players talk about it a little bit too. There's also big greens. That's part of it. So, your lag putting, you're going to have some more putts from longer out occasionally. And you can just see here pretty much every bucket, just a little bit below tour average from a make percentage. So, you're having 5% fewer putts made from 10 to 15 can be a little bit impactful. But yeah, that's kind of the important piece here. I want to go back to the off the tee stuff.
Well, and some of that is probably affected by the field. You're never going to have a strong field here. We have like a half dozen guys in the top 50, maybe. I think there's
what's ironic, and this actually makes a ton of sense in hindsight because Europe won the Ryder Cup. We had 3 U.S. Ryder Cuppers. Okay. 3 U.S. Ryder Cuppers were here last year. Can you name them?
From this team.
Our current team that just went, 3 of those guys teed it up in the 2024 Black Desert Classic.
Did Griffin play?
Ben Griffin is one.
Ben Griffin. English?
Yes. One more.
And was it? Man. I don't know. I don't know if I can name the third one.
JJ Spawn.
Oh God, why? That's so dumb. It's he's completely flipped in your mind. Like he was
totally flipped.
He was a middle. He's like a Mac Meisner last year. Hey, it's JJ McCarthy. He's our Rico Hoey, and then he wins.
Not surprised in hindsight. Yeah. So just speaks to the fact that U.S. lost the Ryder Cup. But yeah, I mean, going off the tee, you could see distance again, elevation. And that's actually the highest, I think. I know we went to Castle Rock for the BMW. In terms of like actual tour events, this is the most elevation that we typically see. 84% driving accuracy, 94.4% good drive percentage.
Yeah.
So we can talk all day about accuracy, missed fairway penalties.
Give me bombers.
Dunzo.
Just give me bombers. Yes. This is.
Yeah.
I think it's a simple formula, and a lot of it is not price agnostic, but if you find some guys close to a price range you like their makeup, you can just bet them because it's just like off the tee is easy, but you're still going to gain some advantage from bombers. There's some cool holes here. Truthfully, I do like this. Yeah. I do like this course. It's fun. We have the par 3 with the bunker in the middle of the green, which is fun. They have the postage stamp homage par 3, which is really cool. But also there's 2. there's 2 par 4s that are like 315 yards. Like just and drivable is like 350 up here because
Yeah, oh
of
yeah.
because of the altitude. And you're going to gain like 10% off your drive anyway. But yeah, 320 and 322. There's 2
Yep,
really
fifth and the
drivable par
14th.
4s. So scoring is probably similar to last year, maybe 20, 25 under, even with a weak field, even with some tough putting, because there's going to be eagle looks in several holes. Couple
I
of the
also
par,
think just simply playing it last year and these guys coming in with a little bit more data,
yeah.
that helps for sure. The other thing that's interesting that I think is maybe a blind spot in people's handicap this week is when we get into the approach shot distribution, pretty flat across the board. Fewer wedges, which makes sense, because even you have those small par 5s or par 4s, like you're not even a wedge in there, right? You're like, that's scrambling at that point. You're around the green. You
Yeah,
have
if you miss the green, it's a pitching wedge.
yeah, not even. I mean, you're just kind of
Well, I
chipping.
mean, yeah,
You have
like
a
three-quarter swing because you're 16
yeah,
yards away.
higher distribution of approach shots from 175 to 200 comparatively. And I think if you're modeling this and you're starting to look and see, okay, I really want to lean into this. I want to see who's really good from 175 to 200. What we're missing here is that because of the altitude and elevation, what you're trying to do by using the data to tell you who's good in that range, you're actually missing the fact that they're probably having a different club in hand than they would normally be at sea level from 175 to 200, right? A 200-yard shot at sea level is a very different club than 175 at elevation. So
Not for
I'd
me.
be careful.
Either way, it's a 3-wood.
Yeah.
Maybe
Run it
driver
up.
off the deck at sea level.
Yeah.
200
So
yards.
I think that's an interesting part, and I've seen some data there, and I think looking at guys that play well in that range would matter.
So
But I also think
should we
it's a
knock it
little
down a couple buckets? Should we be looking at how are guys hitting from 150 to 175 because of the
kind of. I think so. Right. You're
that's
trying to
fun.
tell yourself like their ability with a club, essentially, right? Like their consistency with an 8 or a 9, or versus them having a 6 or a 7 iron. I think that's a
Also,
very different thing.
maybe a little bump to guys who played here last year because they have some. I mean, anytime you've watched the broadcast and they're having the fun part where you get to hear the conversation between a caddy and the player, and they're talking about, what do I got? Well, here's the wind, and here's that. You want to be landing on the front edge, so that's this minus the wind again. We're looking at 141. You want to hit at 136, and they're doing all this math and stuff. The guys who played here last year and have a good idea, have their notebook full of what happened last year and how their stuff travels. Everybody obviously different equipment, different balls, different swing patterns, and just how things work. They know exactly where things are going to go at this altitude. Are probably going to have a little better luck because there's that's a tough adjustment, and obviously that's what practice rounds are for. But it's maybe a little bump for good caddies too if you have a caddy you love. Which again, it's like, oh man, I love Lucas Glover's caddy. I don't know if we're going that. I don't know if we're going that deep.
Yeah, we're not modeling caddy data yet, but I wouldn't rule it out. No stone unturned at Bet Sports Golf. But yeah, you can go in here and take a look at how guys got it done last year. Again, Matt McCarty, I was wanting more Corn Ferry guys. Pat and I were talking about that on Monday. Like, McCarty was coming off of the Corn Ferry, and these Corn Ferry guys, like, you got to be in these spots that the events that those guys are playing. Like, you need birdies, right? Those are your resort courses. They're soft. We're not getting a lot of like Corn Ferry guys. I was hoping that we would get more in here, like a Johnny Kiefer. I was hoping, like, I'm going to bet Johnny Kiefer at 35 to 1 here. He's not in the field, unfortunately. So I was hoping we get some more of those guys here. But you want to go down in this breakdown and see how guys get it done. You could see Tee to Green, really, like, glove was so good, ball striking, but left some shots out there.
I know a lot of that. You got to attribute that to Tom Lamb, the caddy.
Yeah, nice Google.
I'm just googling caddies now.
There's a social account that puts out
Yeah, I do follow that. There was, I think he was Faxon's caddy according to Google.
Yeah. Okay. Bo Hostler played well here. In on Bo Hostler and his ayahuasca trips. Maybe we need to be considering Bo Hostler more frequently. Again, also weird to see Bo losing strokes. Putting where it sometimes is where he makes his mark. Just kind of looking at some of the other guys that kicked it around here last year. Patrick Rogers was interesting. He modeled decently well for me. There's Ben Griffin. You saw Harris English up there as well. Echeverria had a really nice swing season last year. See who's going to be the swing season. Oh, Wes Bryan. Good for Wes. He was here last year. Your boy Rico. There's JJ. So, okay. I didn't look at too much. There's Matt Meisner. Couldn't make a putt here last year. Still decent finish. Did you make a model? Did you make any bets?
Not yet. I'm working on one, but for the most part, I've just been looking at everybody else's stuff. Who do you think's had the best swing season so far?
It's been a light swing season. Matt Meiser's been pretty good.
I'm going to Scheffler. He got the win. I think he of the players in the swing season competition, he's probably the best.
I think that's probably good.
I doubt we'll see him much. I think obviously he'll play Tiger's thing, but I don't think we'll see him at any of the other events. Really nice Pro Tour win though. So Scheffler's my choice.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that. If he's in, we'll have to give him some consideration.
I'm gonna keep an eye on him.
Can you imagine if Scotty's just like, yeah, I'm playing RSM and playing like those guys would be so pissed.
I joked about that with Procore. Like, you can't say, especially if you're American, like, well, this sucks. Thanks, Keegan, for bringing like 10 guys who are going to finish ahead of me. Like, that only cost me $40,000, and moving down the points or the money list. But if you're non-American, you can absolutely whine about that. But no, Stephen Fisk showing up, that's fun.
Yeah,
I think just off the top, just seeing prices. Noren's expensive. I wish he weren't quite as expensive because I like him, but off the top, I'm just going to play my Rico Hui tax. Got to have it. Got to play him.
Makes sense.
But from there, I can be talked into just about anybody.
Here's your current fall season, leaders in strokes gains. Pretty small sample. Stephen Fisk, Christian Bezuidenhout, Doc Redman.
Dirty Doc Redmond. So there is one Rico Hui. Takumi Kanaya. Thor. Expensive. Again, hate his price. He might win. Very good.
I got a 22 on Monday.
I'm very much not betting him here. I don't think he's going to make enough putts at a place like this. I think
he's a decent putter. Baseline. I mean, recently he's been bad.
Yeah.
So his bugaboo's been around the green. So the fact that around the green doesn't matter, that helps him.
I mean, this isn't a place where you get your putter right.
That's probably fair. Yeah, let's look at the rolling averages for a young Michael Thor Bjornsson. You can see here, like the putter was solid. We've slipped up. Eight rounds is pretty noisy, but baseline, last 50s. Again, it's trending in the wrong direction. But the rest of it, the ball striking's been pretty fantastic. There's some good putting in here. Wyndham, Isco, Rocket. It's been just like this is bad over the summer.
That's what I'm saying. Places like John Deere where putting is easy. I think he can absolutely show out and score. It's wild.
WD. I don't remember why he WD'd here last year, but he did. Packed around a couple of T8s at the chicken farm and RSM.
He was ashamed of his putter.
Yeah, putter was okay. He gained strokes putting. He must have sprayed one into the lava fields and was like, you know what?
Maybe he hit a cactus or something. He had cactus in him.
That's it. He's out. So, yeah, I got a 22 on Monday.
That happened to me, dude. We left the margarita bar one time in Arizona. Wife walked into a huge cactus. I mean, she's all fucked up, but she had so many, like, what do you call them? Pins, prickers, needles in her leg. He actually had a left knee injury, according to his knee wasn't feeling good. He withdrew after the first round. Had a nice first round. This is another one too, where if you didn't he get hurt from an attempt out of the lava, says Teardown? Maybe. I don't know. All I could find was that he withdrew after having a knee injury. Maybe he did get out in the lava and get hurt. Those are some uneven lies out there. This is a fun one too. If you have some guys that are big numbers that you think are absolute streak kind of golfers where they've had really, really low rounds. They've had really low rounds based on putting. I think somebody gets hot with the flat stick here because, again, everyone's going to find the fairway. Everyone in the top half of the leaderboard is probably hitting like 90% of fucking fairways. Everybody who's at the top half of the leaderboard is hitting a ton of greens and rag. It does kind of turn into a putting contest when you get to a place like this. Somebody who can get really hot with the flat stick, who's maybe way down the board, can absolutely. There were so many rounds last year. I have this written down somewhere because somebody put this out there. There were, I mean, it's so sixth easiest course on the PGA Tour last year, but it was like rounds under 62. There were like a dozen of them. 12 rounds of 63 or better last year, and it's a par 71. So that's eight under or better on the round. 12 different people had, or maybe it wasn't, maybe several. One guy had it twice, but Svensson shot a 60 in round one. There's some really, really low rounds. And so, I mean, I'm basically saying like nobody's out of bounds here. If you think some huge name can go throw a couple 62s on the board, they're super live because it's a resort course. We see this all the time. What happened in Mexico? I know he bobbled it, but like Potgieter, he wasn't playing that great coming into it, but he had a good fit and damn near won the thing. We've seen that with some of the other events down in the Caribbean. Just like, hey, he hit a bunch of fairways. He's a bomber. He made his putts that week and he competed.
Yeah. That's part of why I made the Taylor Montgomery click on Monday as well. Because even we had the Taylor Montgomery swing season like 3 years ago, and kind of started into the early part of the actual season as well. It was bombs and putts. Yeah, Matt's just good, dude. I talked to Matt. Like Matt's just good at the game. He's just low. I'm pretty sure I forget, but I know Matt's a low single digit handicap. 69's in his bag.
69, still MC. Matt, sorry, you missed the cut.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good score. I'm assuming it wasn't playing as tough, but it's still they ain't shortening the course. I guess depends. Yeah. I'm assuming he's playing from the tips. He's that kind of man.
Yeah. So I bet 3 guys. Like I said, I bet Thor at 22 on Monday morning. I know that's like completely gone, and he's like significantly shorter than that. I also bet Max Homa at 45.
Playing a lot better.
The approach game is good and the putter is good, right? So it's just part of it is Max needs to avoid the lava fields. But I think if he's going to ever do that, it's going to be the spot where we have 49-yard with fairways on average. So I'm hoping that that's the case because, again, the approach game and iron game, if we look here at Max, it's trending, which is really good, so feel good about that. And again, I didn't hate the price. I want Homa to pop. Like, I don't want to have to type in Max. I'm gonna have to fix this logic here. Should be able to get Max. I should get Homa at the top when I type in Homa. Here's the ball striking has been great here as of late. Approach game, obviously we know the accuracy. Driver's been a problem. Distance is up. See the gains in the ball speed compared to even last year. It's probably not an accident. Hopefully serve him well as he gets going a little bit. The approach game has been really solid since the Rocket, and when I look at putting splits on difficult to gain and bent, he's playing really well. So, and then I also went, like I said, Taylor Montgomery was 75 on Monday morning as well. Again, just the hopes that same build as Max, right? Just keep it out of the lava field. If someone's going to find a lava field, it feels like Taylor Montgomery off the tee. But he can pound it out there, and the putter is just consistently good. You can see here, looking at the floor ceiling model, no one's more consistently gaining 2 strokes, 3 strokes than Taylor Montgomery. Putter's been real hot on the Corn Ferry, played pretty well towards the tail end last year. So those are my 3. I'm pretty good. There's Michael Brennan. Ken, are you familiar with Michael Brennan at all?
I'm familiar with it's a name I've scrolled past.
Yeah, it's a deep poll. I don't think we're going to have any Michael Brennan data at all. I wanted the number to be good, and it looks like I wasn't alone because people had It got steamed down. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Ooh, he's a visor guy, it looks like.
Yeah. We're not going to get any Michael Brennan stuff. But he's been playing some pretty good golf. And yeah, he's significantly shorter than I would want him to be with 75, 80 or so. There were some like 150s on him that I missed. And yeah, he's interesting. He's an interesting bomb. He's one of these guys, just, again, playing against poor competition on like, I don't even know what tour he's on. Been a little bit on the Corn Ferry. He's been playing a little bit in let me click on Michael Brennan here. Let me find more here.
Honestly, and I mentioned the greens are a little tougher, but the Corn Ferry is probably good prep. Some of these guys are just grinding Monday qualifiers and bouncing around to alt events. I guess the alt events too, but Corn Ferries are all just scoring contests at this point, which is kind of what you need for prep for something like this.
Here's Michael Brennan little run here via Data Golf. PGA Tour of Americas. I mean, we're talking, this is August. This is now. I mean, these guys are playing every week, right? This is not like old data.
Did he go to the Bemidji? Did he, is that, I think the Canadian and the Latin tour combined, I believe. And it's just, that's what it's called, the Tour of Americas or whatever.
Yeah, well,
so
there's some right now.
There's some golf tournament in like northern Minnesota that's on that tour.
Oh, look at you.
Well, I looked at going last year. It just didn't work. It just didn't work out. It was like Bemidji TNCC, baby. I'm gonna have to look at that because
you're not that far north though, right? You're closer to Iowa.
Yeah, I know, but I love going up there. It's much more scenic, and obviously it's not going to be this time of year because it's cold now. But the winter, especially for anyone who watches college football, knows what they give out when the Wisconsin Badgers and Minnesota Gophers play. The trophy is not too dissimilar from that. You just get a big axe.
Cool. Big old axe.
I love a good trophy like that where it's like, shit, how do I? It's cool when you're holding it, and then you get home, and be like, oh, I gotta hang this on the wall, I guess. Like, I can't set this up like a trophy on a shelf.
Yeah, maybe, like
maybe they give you one of those cool holders, like when you buy an Iberico ham.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't buy a lot of hams.
Oh, I get every time those come out at Costco, I do get one of those.
That doesn't surprise me.
I digress again.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. It's going to be, it's Thor, baby. This is it. Around the green doesn't matter. Drive, ball striking, make your putts, buddy. Let's go.
Maybe a little Frankie Sappin for me. I don't think I'll play him to win, but
I mean, look at him, man. The putting is nice.
He's a really good putter, and I think this is a nice setup for him. He's starting to come into his own. He's very young. I don't think I think he's like 20 maybe, but he finally got a bunch of starts this year. He has a top 10. He has a couple of top 20s. He top 10 down in the chicken farm. Obviously, it's been kind of hit and miss from them. He had to withdraw from the 3M. He was playing very, very badly. I think he was just nervous because he's from here. But yeah, Sappin, I think for a top 20 is a look for me. So far, it's Rico Hui and Frankie Sappin top 20. I don't know where else I'm going from there.
All right. That's good. That's all I got. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us.
Fading Thor.
Fading Thor is a bad move.
Won't play him. Oh, you know what I should do? If I get some time tonight, I'll do some DFS. I miss golf DFS. I do enjoy that quite a bit.
You need to do a little bit more of it next year. I'm excited. Yeah, we are moving some stuff over from Fantasy National. We're really excited about that. We'll have some more news on that to come shortly. Also continuing to make tweaks and additions to the rabbit hole, which we are really excited about, including hopefully very soon. And I just want to keep putting it out in the ether and really like turn the knob on, our development team and executives. We're really hoping to have DP World Tour data like when we turn the calendar. That's really Andy and I's hope, and we're nudging and pushing for that in the back end where it can be implemented, figuring out how it lays out, working on some new site design stuff and some other stuff. Yeah, always trying to improve. And
we are talking to the folks at Wentworth.
Well,
Is that where that is? It's in Surrey. But yeah, we are incommunicado with the DP World Tour, where a lot of it is just going to be how to, and maybe this is a good spot where if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. If you do use the rabbit hole, hit us in the Discord, Twitter, email, write me a letter, call me on the phone, text me, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you got. But I just don't know 100% how I want to do it, because it might not have all the exact same data as the PGA Tour data. So do you want, if you're looking at data, do you want it to include DP World Tour data, which I think is correct? Like if I'm looking at driving distance and I have a group, let's just say I have a group of 20 men and 5 of them played 75% of their golf on the DP this year, and I'm looking at driving distance, I want that included. I want that, if I'm looking at approach play, but I don't know that it'll be 100% overlap with data and data. So I think maybe we'll have a toggle on and off where it's like, just show me PGA, just show me, maybe it's a 3-way. Maybe it's just show me PGA, just show me DP, show me combined. But I think it needs to be incorporated into the same tool in the long run when you're looking at it, because I think that's where some of the sauce gets lost is, you have a guy show up and he just doesn't model well because it's only showing 3 or 4 events where he plays over here sporadically. And then the live thing is a whole nother box of hornets.
Yeah.
We'll figure that. It's secondary.
It's secondary.
Tertiary even.
Tertiary issue that only really pops up at majors or DP World Tour events, right? Kind of when they're, those guys playing over there and how a little bit. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, I agree that we need to have some sort of toggle. It's got to all be the same thing. I don't think we need to build a DP World Tour rabbit hole. I think it needs to all be in there. I think that's the point that we're trying to do. So yeah, any feedback for Andy and I, hit up Ron, PJ Splits 101 as well. 3 of us are, we get to be the decision makers. So we get to, your impact and your input is impactful for us too, because we want to make sure it's the best for the user. And that's you. And we have our thoughts, but we want yours as well. And I think if you've been with us for the last year or two, you've understood that impression and that we're definitely open to your advice and your takes on how you want this to be used. So that's all I got. To win some money in Utah, Thor, Max, and Montgomery for me, Rico Hoey, Frankie C for Andy.
Frankie C. And remember, it's a soft C, guys.
So soft. It's the softest C.
Sapping. See you guys.